Well, guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to our session. Seguimos avanzando en nuestras sesiones. Today is session number 3. And today, basically, we're going to finish unit 1, okay? The idea of today will be more related, connected to writing and speaking. Maybe different to what we have been done on sessions 1 and 2. Let's say that today, finally, we have one individual activity in terms of the product that you will present at the end of the session, okay? Just wanted to clarify that part. Mini paréntesis en Spanish. Bueno, recuerden que como en este nuevo nivel tenemos nuevo proyecto que va a ser la base para lo que vamos a estar trabajando en los diferentes ciclos. Para el día de mañana, una de las cosas que vamos a estar trabajando es que me hagan saber cuál es el tema que van a hablar. Recuerden que el tema es Important Life Events, cualquier tema que ustedes consideren como uno que quieran compartir. Yo siempre trato de aclarar mucho en esta parte que no quiero que sientan que estoy chismoseando, ni mucho menos que quiero que me cuenten detalles personales de su vida. Siempre busquen un tema con el cual ustedes pues sientan como comodidad hablando de ese tema. Y al mismo tiempo de un tema que puedan hablar bastante. Entonces, en estos días, la idea es que como que tengan ese brainstorming para ya mañana decidan cuál es ese tema, de tal manera que de eso ustedes van a estar hablando durante todos esos 5 niveles. Entonces, puede que parezca una decisión fácil, pero no lo es mucho, ya que ustedes de alguna manera se comprometen a hablar de ese tema, de ese Important Life Event, hasta que sea de 1.5. Entonces recuerden que mañana, digamos, ya es el día oficial en el cual ustedes me comparten esa información. Okay. No more information in Spanish. I just wanted to clarify like that administrative component. Well, before we start, let's do the usual task that we have at the beginning of all the sessions. And let's take attendance. Where we are, today is the 9th. Karen Victoria.
Present, teacher.
Okay, Steven Santiago.
Here, teacher.
Okay, Sergio David. I think I saw Sergio there in the chat. Okay. Let's continue. Kiara Lizette Martínez.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jorge Jair Moreno.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Natalia Navarro.
Present.
Okay. Okay, Sergio. Thank you. Natalia said present. Sergio said present in the chat. Okay, I hope that you can solve those issues in a moment. Let's continue. Dana Valentina Ortiz.
Present, Miss.
Okay. Manuela Ortiz.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Joan Sebastián Pavón. Not here for the moment. Beatriz Pedraza.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Hamilton Peña.
Present, Miss.
Okay. Xiomara Caterina Rincón.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jessica Paola Ríos.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Catherine Alexandra Rodríguez.
Present, Miss.
Okay. Marlon Yesid Sánchez. I think I saw Marlon. Marlon Yesid Sánchez. Bueno, ahorita de contestar. Mendy Fabián Santa. Mendy's not here. Ah, okay, Marlon. Maybe he's having problem with the connection and with this weather. It gets crazy. Karen, Juliet Torres doesn't continue. Manuel Alberto.
Present teacher.
Okay. María Alejandra Vega.
Present teacher.
Okay. And Vanessa Zambrano.
Present teacher.
Okay, Vanessa, very good. So for the moment, the ones that are absent and Juan Sebastian and Marlon and Mendy. It looks like Marlon has some problems with the connection. Well, when they get back, I will adjust the attendance. Okay, let me share once again the screen. And as I was telling you, well, today we officially finish Unit 1. Also, like in an ideal world, let's put it like that, we would finish as well the activities in the virtual campus. I know that this requires a lot of job, but hopefully you have like the time to do the activities and you can practice those activities as well. At the end of Unit 1, I was telling you a few seconds ago, we will be talking about writing and speaking. And also I was telling you, like the idea of tonight is to have one final product, like the final outcome of the class would be a written task. Tonight, let's say that finally is going to be an individual task. Of course, all the information is taken from our book. We are talking about pages 14 and 15, especially page 14, which is related, or the main idea of page 14 is to, let's say, how to write emails. You already know, of course, how to write emails, but let's say that tonight we're going to have like an official look of some tips on how to write informal emails, just like to refresh your memory. As I was telling you, we are not talking about any information that you don't know. Well, as usual, we're going to start with a Mentimeter. You know that I actually kind of like asking you different questions through this app. And there are two questions. The first one is like a typical survey. Let me send the link to the chat. Okay, Marlon, yeah, I noticed. Don't worry, I actually write that down in here. Well, guys, the first question that there is a microphone. Maybe that you have a question, guys. Parece escuchar que...
I am driving to my house. I'm driving when I arrive in my house, okay?
Okay, be careful, Beatrice, please. No problem. Okay, Sebastian is also here. I will make the adjustment in the attendance in a moment. Guys, the first question says the following. Do you use online social networks a lot? Remember that when we say a lot, it's because we are talking about, let's say a big would be amount of time. Maybe from other discussions that we had in another group, the perception of a lot can be something like subjective, right? But that would be like a different discussion. So the first is a very, dare to say, easy question. Yes or no? That's all that you have to answer. Do you use online social networks a lot? Let's just. I was want to say, let's check, and I mix it with choose. Okay, Sebastian, don't worry. I'll make the adjustment in the attendance as well as Marlon's. I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes maybe for you to decide if you use the social networks a lot. In the meantime, I'm going to adjust the attendance of your classmates, okay? There you have. I think that I sent it only to one person. Maybe that was my mistake. But there it is. I already sent it. Thank you, guys. They sent it only to Sergio. Sorry. There you go. Very good. Okay, for the moment we have 11 answers out of 18. Well, I know that some of you have problem with the connection, but this is driving. I expect at least 15 of your answers. That would be like good enough. Okay, 14. One more. Okay. Let's see the tendency. Well, it's not that like far one perspective from the other. 60% of you consider that you actually use them a lot, and 40% of you consider that you don't use it that much. Now, the next question is going to be open-ended. It says, what do you use them for? Remember, guys, that usually at this first part of the session, when we have a Mentimeter, the intention is not to extend your answers. For the moment, it's like very general information. Later in the session, of course, I'm going to ask you a more demanding questions where we are going to make like a whole description. For the moment, like in very general terms, of course, you don't have to be detailed. What do you use them for? Okay, it's the same link, just in case that you close the tab, I'm gonna send it once again. So in few words, what do you use them for? I'm gonna give you 3 minutes, okay? I hope at least, once again, 15 answers, then I would uncover them and we will have a look on how similar or different your answers are. 3 minutes starting now. Okay, guys, time's up. Of course, there are more answers that I'm expecting, at least 3 more answers, but we can uncover the ones that we have so we can have a look at them. Very quickly, well, Instagram, work, starting communication, just for work or talk with my friends. Okay. Share photos. Regularly just to keep me informed, okay. Use them to see a lot of memes. Well, we can't deny that that's like a very popular activity these days. Talking with my friends, see news, practice English, okay. I use them or spend, well, I use them to spend instead of for, let's say 2. Part of my free time watching educational videos or entertainment. I used to work, like I use them to work, to spend my free time, to learn different things, to see news, okay? I use them to watch short videos, okay? Different perspectives. I use them to be informed for information in general of my interests, and sometimes I see entertainment. I use social networks to communicate with colleagues, friends, and family, also to look for information and distract myself. Communication, entertainment, business, sales, news. And finally, used to talk with friends also for entertainment and look for information. Este por si lo pondríamos acá. Okay, guys, very good. Of course, everybody has a different opinion in this aspect. Everybody has a different use when we're talking about social networks. In particular, remember that tonight we will be talking about writing an email. Of course, it has a connection on the information that we are going to, let's say, see in a moment. But before we go to our book, as I was telling you a few minutes ago, the idea is like to refresh our memory a little bit. So let's take a kind of, why not like a step back, and let's have a look at some information, just once again to refresh our memory in terms of writing an informal email and those aspects that we should keep in mind. Of course, like in very general aspects, we can say that we have 2 types of writing. We have formal writing and informal writing. When we're talking about formal writing, most of the cases we're talking about people we don't know, of course, not always. And when we are writing in this type of situations, we always use full sentences and special expressions, you know. Look at the example, it says, "Dear Mr. Smith, I am writing to apply for the job, blah, blah, blah. Please see my attached resume, blah, 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 blah." But tonight, we will be focusing our attention on, let's say, the informal type of writing. Usually in these cases, we are talking about people that we know well. Maybe we're talking to friends, family, etc. And there is, let's say, a kind of a special relationship with them. And because of that type of relationship, we can use, let's say, shortened sentences, like in this case, contracted forms as well. And in some cases, but when it is way too informal, we can even eliminate certain words. Look at this example. It says, "Hi, I'm having a party, wanna come?" Because there is that level of, why not, informal context that we know that thanks to that, we can reduce the information to be included, or that we don't have to be very specific in terms of the language. Once again, even being informal has also levels that we have to keep in mind. The idea of tonight's, let's put it like that, email is to be a little bit informal, but not like we are sharing on social media. Just to refresh our memory, we're going to do this first exercise. And the idea is to complete this slide with different parts of the email. Here we have start an email, ask for help, ask for information, arrange to meet, and end the email. Let's say that if we have a look, we are talking about, why not, the very basic parts that emails have. And in the box, we have the words that you're going to include. We have best, let's meet at, can you help, see you later, do you know, can you buy, hi, and what time. We already use hi here at the beginning, like a way to start the email will be with this greeting. Of course, there are other ways to start an email. That's not a lie. But for the moment, let's say that this is one expression that we can use. So guys, the idea is to organize all these phrases into the part that corresponds to an email. Once again, you already know how to write emails. What we're doing is just like to refresh our memory a little bit in terms of the parts that the email has. Guys, do you have any questions about this activity? Turn this off for a moment. Questions? Okay, I take your silence that we don't have questions. Of course, you have to use each expression once, like hi is already used. We don't need to use it anymore. Guys, I'm gonna give you once again 4 minutes for you to analyze the expressions and the part of the email that they go to. Okay, there you have the slide. 4 minutes starting now.
Teacher,
Yes.
teacher present.
Okay, Mandy. Well, guys, time's up. The idea was to organize the phrases like in the corresponding part of an email. Jorge, we already had number one. We said start an email is hi. What about ask for help?
Okay, can you help?
Mhm.
Can you guide?
That will be it. Very good, Jorge. Thank you. Hamilton, what about ask for information? Hamilton?
Teacher, ask for information is, for example, do you know?
And that is one. And the other, there are two.
Other, for example, what time?
That would be it. Very good. Thank you, Hamilton. In the case of arrange to meet, we only had one. Karen Victoria, which phrase?
Teacher, let's me add.
Very good. Well, from the million of phrases that we can use, which are the two that we can assign to this part of end the email, Kiara?
And see you later and best.
Very good. Well, I know, guys, that you may consider that this vocabulary is way too easy, but just my intention, as I told you, was like to take a step back, like to refresh our memory and keep in mind, let's say, the possible parts that we can find on an email. Remember that for tonight, our intention is to have a look at an informal email, just like, once again, to keep in mind those different parts that we can find. Well, guys, let's officially go to our book. As I was telling you, we're going to focus our attention on page 14, which is about writing. We already did the first part. We're going to move to part 2. Let me zoom in so we can actually read the information a little bit better. Here we have the email that you guys are going to read on a moment. But of course, let's have a look at the instruction of what we have to do first. Let's have a look at, yes?
Sorry, can you print screen the diapositive? My microphone is mute. I don't hear, sorry.
Sorry, Beatriz, the slide. We already said that is not the opposite, no? But which slide do you mean? This one?
This slide, yes, teacher.
Okay.
Teacher, what is the meaning best for the end email?
Well, best is like the short version of best wishes.
Okay.
So with only best, it's implicit that we include wishes in that part.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Beatriz, welcome. Yes, so let's read this email. Of course, it's a little bit long. Remember, guys, we're now B1, not short emails anymore. Let's see the instruction of part 2. Natalia, please, could you read this instruction that we have in here?
Yes, of course. Read the online message that Katarina sent to her boyfriend Grace. How do they know each other? What does Katarina want to do?
Very good. So you are going to help me, as usual, reading this email. You will notice that the email has some blank spaces. For the moment, these blank spaces are not a problem. It's not a problem at any point, but don't worry about that part. The fact that we have these blank spaces, don't confuse, let me put like this, the idea that we need to get from this first activity. Remember that for the moment, the idea is to answer these two questions. How the two people, Katarina and Grace, know each other. And at the end, what does Katarina want to do? Okay, so once again, don't worry about the blank spaces. We will have a look at them in a moment. Let's begin with the first paragraph. I would like to ask Valentina Ortiz to read it, please. Valentina Ortiz. Valentina. I tell Valentina that I was calling her. Maria Vega, please.
Hi, Grace. Long time no see. It's been a few years, but I hope you remember me. After we left university, I lost your details, so I was really happy to find you again on this website. You look great in your photo.
Very good. So notice in this case, we have the greeting and somehow the reason why they are getting in contact for the moment. Let's have a look at the second paragraph. We can see that there are a lot of questions. Sebastian, could you read it, please?
What are you doing now? Are you still living in Manchester? Sorry for the question, but how is your family? Is your brother still training to be a lawyer? And what are your parents doing? That holiday I spent at your house with family. Happy.
Okay, very good. Let's continue with the next paragraph. Let me ask Jessica to read it, please.
After university, I moved back to Slovakia. I'm still there now. I live in Bratislava with my husband, Hendrik. He is a TV producer. I work for media company now. Life changes so quickly. I really love my life here, but I still might miss our time together at university. It was so much fun.
Okay, Jessica, very good. Remember that in this case, I live, okay? In this case, it's life, acá bien. But the verb is live. Very good. And let's finish the email. Mandy, could you read it, please, the final paragraph?
Teacher, I'm driving, but I go to read.
No, Mandy, if you're driving, no. Driving and
Okay.
reading is not a good idea. Let me see. Catherine, thank you.
My company is sending me to Manchester for 3 days next week. Hendrik is coming with me. While we are there, we will really love to meet up with you. Is that possible? Take care, Katarina.
Very good. Remember, guys, for the moment we have some blank spaces, but that's not a problem yet. The first two questions that we had in here, how do they know each other? What does Katarina want to do? I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes. Let me zoom out for you to maybe reread, more like rereading to scan the email in order to find the answer of these two questions that we have in here. Once again, let me zoom in. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes and then you're going to answer the first two questions that we have in here, okay? Remember, guys, the email is on page 14. 3 minutes, starting now. Okay. Let's see your answers, Beatriz. How do they know each other?
A teacher, he knows at the university. They know at the university.
Okay. They know from university. They know each other from university.
From
Okay.
university.
Very good, Beatriz. Xiomara, the second question. What does Katarina want to do?
Okay, she wants to see Grace because the company sends her to Manchester for 3 days.
Very good. Absolutely. Those are the answers. Well, guys, as you see, technically for the moment, we didn't really need the information that we had in the blank spaces, but we need to complete the email. And that is what we have here on part 3. The idea now, you're going to do it individually, of course. You will reread, once again, maybe to scan. We already know what the information is telling us, how it is presented, the organization, and you're going to complete it with the phrases that we have in here. But let's read the phrases just to make sure that we don't have maybe questions related to vocabulary. Karen Victoria, could you read phrases A, B, C, D, E?
Yes, teacher. As you know, lots of lot of love. I want to hear all your news. I really hope you're well. P.S. You can see some photos of me now on my profile page.
Okay, very good. Let's have a look at the expressions F, G, H, and I. Jorge, could you read them, please?
D, I really hope you are well. P.S. You can see some photos of me now on my profile page. So who are things with you? There's another reason I wanted to get in touch. Please let me know. I still remember.
That would be it. My profile page, the pronunciation. That would be it. Thank you, Jorge. Well, guys, from these expressions that we have in here, these phrases actually, do you have any question related to vocabulary? Easy, easy, easy. Let's see the chat. Okay, that was something for me. Okay, guys, very good. I'm sure that while you read here the phrases, you also noticed the development of the information, like probably just greeting, talking about the body or the important part, the description that the email had, and of course, the ones that we use to end an email. Guys, you have to use all of them, okay? Make sure that you place all the expressions in the blanks that we have in here. If at some point you see that one of the expressions, that you used doesn't look like, well on that place on the email that you put it, take it away, like eliminate it, and then go back and try with a different one. Once again, guys, you have to use all of them in order to officially complete our email, okay? Well, guys, in this case, you have to analyze the information a little bit more. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. We're going to do this activity here, like all together. It's going to be done individually. I am not going to send you to breakout rooms yet. So complete the email, okay? Any question, guys?
Teacher, let me see the email again, please.
Well, the thing is that would be like in different parts because I can't put it all complete. So I don't know if you want to take a screenshot.
Yes, teacher. I'm taking screenshots.
Okay, that would be, and this will be the final part. Ready?
Ready, teacher.
Okay, and now I'm gonna display the statements. Okay. Well, guys, 10 minutes starting now. Well, guys, time's up. I hope that the 10 minutes were enough for you to, let's say, organize the phrases in the corresponding part of the email. Let's see. So on the first space, Diego, which letter did you use in number 1? No, let me see the chat. Let me see the chat. Let me refresh my memory. No, maybe he's still busy. Let me ask Hamilton, number 1.
Teacher, for me is only the answer.
Yeah, you could read the phrase, you know.
I really hope you're well.
Very good. That would be the first one. So let's eliminate it. Let's continue from that one. Which one did you use for space number 2? Jorge.
Teacher, I can F. I think that it's F.
Okay, very good. Could you read it, please?
So, how are things with you?
Very good. Karen Victoria, what about number 3?
Yes, teacher, number 3
Mhm.
is I want to hear all your news.
Very good. What about number 4, Katerina Alexandra?
Yes, Miss, number 4 is number 8.
You know, I think that there is a problem with the connection, Catherine, because I actually didn't hear like a complete sentence.
Can you hear me? I still remember.
Okay, yes, that would be the
Yes.
one. Very good. Yeah, I could hear you now. Yes, Catherine, that's the one for number 4. What about number 5, Kiara?
Number 5, as you know.
Very good. What about number 6, Manuel? Manuel? Let's see the chat. Manuel says that it's A. And that's A. Very good. But A, we already used it, sorry. Notice that A, we used it for, let me check, number 5. Notice, as you know. So that's not the one. Well, we're talking about number 6, Manuel. Let's see if we can ask Maria Vega for some help. What do you have for number 6?
Maybe G. There's another reason I want to get in touch.
Very good. We have only 3 left. Natalia, what about 7?
Then, H.
Please let me know. Number 8, that would be for Santiago.
Letter B, lots of love.
Very good. So the only one that we have left for number 9 would be E. PS. Guys, do you remember exactly PS, what it stands for?
Postdata.
Data.
Okay. Let me send the answers to the chat. In case that probably you had problem with connection or you couldn't see or anything. So we can make sure that everybody has the same answers. Give me a second while I send them. I hope I don't make mistakes. Okay, let me check. So we said that 1 is D, 2F, 3C, 4I, 5A, 6G, 7H, 7B, and 9E. There you have. There is a question in the chat. The first will not be sentence E. The first for number 1E. Not really, because precisely the idea of PS is that postscript note that we include at the end of a text. If this would be like the final paragraph of the email, then we could include PS in here, but PS is the last thing that we add on an email. So just to answer one question that I got in the chat, that's the reason why we can't use, in this case, phrase E to finish the first paragraph, because notice that we still have more information in our email. That's the reason why, okay? Let's see the chat. Very welcome. Well, guys, we already talked about those very general parts that the email had. Of course, when we are talking about the body of an email, there are some aspects of information that we specifically want to include. For example, I'm talking about this part 4 that we have in our book. If we match the topics with the paragraph, we can say that questions for her old friend go in number 2. That set of questions that we have in here would be this part, right? It looks kind of ugly, but that's the intention. Guys, well, we have already read the email a lot of time. I'm not gonna give you more time to read it and then to go back. What about part B? It says reasons for getting in touch. Which of the paragraphs, now that you have already read them and let's say analyze them, which of the paragraphs actually talks about reasons for getting in touch? 1, 3, or 4? What do you think, guys? Someone says 3. Let me ask, well, I'm gonna choose a name, Vanessa. What do you think? Which paragraph actually it's giving the reasons? It says reasons for getting in touch. Catherine says 3. Well, maybe my mistake is this. We have to organize like the general idea of each paragraph. We have questions for her old friend that we already know that is in paragraph number 2. We have reasons for getting in touch now, why she hasn't been in touch before, and news about her own life. So from these, let's say 3 aspects that we have pending, which one do you think goes to the first paragraph? B, C, or D? Let's put it like in that order so we can actually see the development of the email and we don't go paragraph 4, then paragraph 1, then paragraph 2. I don't want like to confuse the idea of the email. Jorge says C. Very good. So we can say that in this case, because I put 2, what was the point of putting 2? The reasons why she hasn't been in touch before, according to the information, she's already telling us that a lot of details, that she's very happy to find the job again. Let me erase this so I can place a A. There should be a better way to do this. Well, we already covered 2 letters. The first one, A, that was the example. And the information on paragraph 1 that is talking about, let's say, idea C, why she hasn't been in touch before. Which of the others we have B, reasons for getting in touch, and D, news about her own life, we would assign to paragraph number 3? What do you think, guys? Very good. So in this case, we would go with D. Sorry. You will see why I'm doing this in a moment. And then this would be B. Of course, with the extra information that we are adding with the postscript note. Okay. Besides the typical parts of the email that we already analyzed, let's go back a little bit to the the second activity that we did, that we know that we have to start the email. In some cases, maybe asking for help. We ask for information in case that we want to arrange to meet, and of course, end the email. There are some very specific aspects that we want to include on our email as well. In this case, the whole context of the email was to get in touch with a friend once again. Now that we have already analyzed the email, we even completed the email, it's our turn to create our own email. First, I'm going to give you the instruction of what you are going to do. You are going to think of an old friend you haven't seen for a long time, and you are going to invent a reason to contact him or her. Do you remember the reason from the email that we read? Why Katarina contacted her friend? What was like the reason that she provided? Yes, Catherine?
Because she have a trip and where her friend lives.
Perfect, Catherine, very good. That would be a reason. Of course, the idea that you think of another situation, hopefully something different, of course, and you're going to use that like as that excuse to contact your friend. The idea that you're going to use, let's say somehow, let me see the chat. With Grace. That would be it. That's the answer as well. I received also the answer in the chat. Remember that we were talking about 4 parts, the final exercise that we did, but of course, because of time, you're going to use at least 2, okay? Which are the parts? Remember that we're talking about part 4 in our book. Let me zoom in a little bit. You could use like questions for your old friend, the reasons why you want to get in touch or why you haven't been in touch before, and news about your life. We're going to keep a very short and simple email. Of course, in this case, our email was really long. We were talking about 4 different paragraphs and we would require more time. But as I was telling you, because of time, we're going to keep it, I would dare to say, short and simple. So instead of using the 4 topics, you are going to use at least 2, okay? If in the amount of time that I'm gonna give you, you can include the 4 of them, that is perfect. But there is one activity that I want to do after this part. So that's the reason why I'm telling you that we're gonna keep it to 2. While you write your email, and remember the context, contacting an old friend, you also want to include like the reason why you are contacting that person. Here, there are some aspects for you to keep in mind, you know, let's say like those tips or those aspects of criteria that are key in order to have a good email. For example, are there clear paragraphs? Sorry, give me a second. Okay, like you can see the different paragraphs in your email. Number 2, are you using appropriate phrases? Remember the parts of the email, like the phrases to include in the body, at the beginning, or when you are closing your ideas. Are you using present tenses and questions correctly? Remember that in Unit 1, we were refreshing our memory, and the idea was to review present simple in general aspects. So, are you using those tenses in particular in this case? And probably one of the most important ones as well. Well, all of them are important, of course. Have you checked spelling and punctuation? I think that up to this point, you have already polished a lot, some aspects of spelling. Well, in general, your spelling is really good, guys. We haven't really had like problems with that. Maybe one of the things that I see that sometimes you forget is that you use I, like in lowercase. instead of I when we're talking about the pronoun, right? But in general aspects, your spelling is really good. So while you read the email, besides the creation, let's put it like that, of the information, keep in mind these aspects in terms of how well written it will be because of the spelling, because of the content, because of the expressions, okay? Questions, guys?
No, miss.
Very good. So I have just sent you the link. And because this is an individual activity, here I show you the typical image that I show you when we have this type of shared PowerPoint presentations. I think that once again, the number of slides has changed. So don't take for granted that you are in the same slide that you used to be on our previous cycle, okay? So when you arrive to the presentation, don't forget to go to your slide and immediately write down your name. I'm gonna keep this image like for a couple of minutes so we don't make mistakes.
You're not
Sorry?
teacher.
Okay, for a moment I got like I'm not so no, I got the wrong list of students. Okay. So I'm gonna keep this one displayed for a couple of minutes. Okay, I'm gonna, don't worry, of course, this is time that you are given to do the email just for you like to check your slides. Let me make sure that you are actually in the slide that corresponds to you. Remember, write down your names.
Teacher, excuse me, can you see, can you resend the link, please?
Sure. There you go.
And show me again the, what is my code?
Your code, but for this activity, we don't need the code. The number of the slide, in your case, is 17.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, don't worry. Well, guys, in case that probably at this moment you really really can't, anyway, I invite you like to write down on, I don't know, on a chat on your cell phone, on some notes. So when you have the chance, you can put the information on the slide, just in case, or maybe on your notebook, whatever is easier for you in this moment. That would be like the idea. If you can't, well, don't worry. I want to see the names. Karen, Steven, number 3 is not here. Kira Lisette, Jorge, Natalia, Valentina, Manuela. Number 12. Okay, already told me, Simara. 16, well, 17 is already Mandy. 18, Manuel, Vanessa. Because now we're 20. Okay, very good. Well, guys, you already started. I don't want to interrupt you with my voice. I'm going to give you 15 minutes. Keep in mind the parameters, the whole context, and this mini box that we have in here. That is your criteria. Also for you, like self-evaluate if you are fulfilling all the different requirements that the email has. Well, no more interruptions. 15 minutes starting now, officially now. Well, guys, I'm going to start having a look at your emails, more like in very general aspects. Of course, I know that you're still polishing your ideas, but don't forget that you have up until tomorrow to make adjustments. But hopefully you finish this tonight. That is why I know that 15 minutes is not like a lot of time, but I really hope that it is like a good amount of time at least to have most of the information presented. I'm going to have a look at Karen's. Okay, no problem. Well, I hope that you took some notes at least. And then about the answer, your thoughts. Okay. Very good. Excellent. Good, Karen. For the moment, so far, so good. Keep in mind that the idea is that visually we see the paragraphs separated, okay? But in terms of the information and spelling, it's pretty well, okay? Just keep that in mind. I'm going to have a look at Santiago's. Is Santiago here? Is that true? Not truth? True. I always say true or false. So for you to check the spelling. Santiago, are you listening?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna tell you something from your second paragraph, because you're talking about your life, that would be like it, you know? So in that case, the adjustment would be what has. Not have, but
Okay.
has. Notice that this word is being like underlined, so check the spelling as well. Very good. Thank you, Santiago. Let me check quickly some of the other. Well, I have enough time to check the ones that you have. And for the ones that couldn't write down on the slide, because you already informed the reason why, I hope that you took some notes and that you can share at least reading them in a moment. And you, of course, eventually would write down the email, because as you can imagine, this is part of the gradable component, of course. Let me check Sergio's. Sergio, without this, you're listening, right, Sergio? Sergio? Let me see the chat. Yes, okay. Without it's a preposition, and also for you guys to keep in mind, when we have a verb, when we're talking about an action after a preposition, we have to use ing without seeing. So you just add ing after any preposition that we have. Well, we put it to the verb, just to clarify. It's been a lot of time without seeing us. I wasn't seeing each other. Ese vernos. Es recíproco. Ok. Eso me suena. Here you mean por no enviar. Would be not sending. Once again, because we have for, and this for is forcing us, let's put it like that, to use that grammatical component of ing. I'm very happy. I'm very happy to find. When we provide the reason, we use to. For would be the recipients. So that is why in this case, I'm very happy to find. Okay, check this spelling, right? But so far, so good. Thank you, Sergio. Let me check Kiara's. I think I can check at least half of the emails that have been corrected, and I also would like to have a look at some of the ones that, let's say, did it on their notebooks because they haven't had the chance to write that down yet in the slide. Kiara says, I'm sorry, maybe number 2. When well, it's evident that tsunami, it's a toy, right? Yes. I was going to ask if it is he or she as well. Remember that the pronoun I is the only one that goes with no tengo nada que decir. Tammy talked to me in here. Sería masters. Of master. Okay, very good. Just one thing, just like to clarify, when we say ankles, it is only masculine, okay? But I don't know if it's only masculine, just to make sure. Different maybe from other words that we have the version like siblings, that we have brothers and sisters. If we're talking about male and female, we would have to clarify uncle and aunt. But if it is only masculine, then uncles, it's fine. Just wanted to clarify that part, okay? Let's see Jorge's. Okay. Well, Jorge, you're listening, right?
Yes, teacher.
Very good. Notice that in this case, you say old friend. That is why in this case, we have to use an, right? Because it begins with a vowel sound.
Okay.
After we finish college, comma, each one took a different route and lost. Notice that even here, Jorge, the corrector is showing you to make the adjustment because lose it doesn't exist. Okay, check the past of lose. It's irregular.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Well, few is countable. It makes reference to plural. A few days ago, I went back to using Facebook again. Profile. Maybe check this idea, Jorge, because I think that what you want to say that que ha cambiado. So maybe the best structure here would be present perfect for you to make the adjustment. So it is like aligned. Happy for you. There is a writing. You're talking about our lives. It's about the code. Okay. Good, Jorge. That would be it. One, let me see one that is
thank
also.
you.
Thank you. I think that we finish here. Well, of course, I go one by one, but keep in mind the comments, right, guys? Like the thing about the preposition and the ing, the capital letter for the pronouns, in which cases we use it. Those things maybe, let's say, could have an impact on your email. Although I know that you are checking yours particularly, but maybe those mini ideas. Okay, I have also this issue. Let's check Natalia's and then we wrap up the session. I remember the last time I saw you was in nice. Natalia, you are listening?
Yes.
Okay. I was in my ceremony graduation. Would be my graduation ceremony. You in the first line. And then you said I was really. After really, the idea is to put an adjective. Probably the easiest would be really happy, but really glad, really excited, really amazed. I don't know. That would be like the adjective that you want to use. Okay, so how are things with you? Okay. Maybe it's a silly thing, but question space. question space, okay? Because all your questions are like all together. Also check this question, Natalia. You said, what are you doing, your grandmother? Maybe you mean, what is your grandmother doing? ¿Qué está haciendo su abuela? Is that your idea?
Yes.
What is your grandmother doing? Okay, well, there is one thing. I still miss talking to her. We're friends since Natalia, we was? We is plural.
I am talking that we are friends since we have age.
No, since we
years.
were, you mean. Was is singular.
Yes. Sorry.
Don't worry, Natalia. I think that, well, it's early to be tired, but could be a reason. Okay. Well, guys, it's already 7:45. I know that in these cases, I don't usually have enough time to check all your emails in this exercise in particular, but at least some of the general ideas. Guys, if you haven't finished, my invitation is to leave it as a homework so you can have your 15-minute break and to continue with the second part of the session. I will check this the day after tomorrow, okay? So you have until tomorrow, 6 p.m. if you want to make any adjustments, especially for the ones that don't have the computer at this moment. So tomorrow you can work on that, okay? Well, guys, see you tomorrow. Don't forget the mini homework in case that you didn't finish. If you already finished, then that's it. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye,
teacher.
teacher.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.